According to the game's director, the $500 League of Legends Ahri skin wasn't meant for the average fan, but instead, quote, players who are willing to spend $200 a month on their hobbies, end quote. Little description of this, because this is all news to me. I am not in League of Legends as a community. Like I just don't really play it. So I hadn't heard of this till you guys in chat had told me. Riot recently came under fire as League of Legends fans pushed back against its introduction of a cosmetic that cost up to $500. The skin was made to celebrate renowned league player Faker for being the first person inducted into Riot's new Hall of Legends, but lots of players were upset that the price barred so many from celebrating the momentous occasion. This skin, yeah, let's see, it'll cost you a whopping 59,260 RP. In other words, Faker has the unique title of being the first player Riot's honored with a skin that can cost damn near $500 USD. For comparison, Ultimate Skin, some of League's flashiest cosmetics typically cost $32.50 or around $30. Meanwhile, even the cheapest version of the new Ahri Faker skin bundle costs $5,400 or somewhere around $50. Of course, the bundles have other cosmetic nuggets like taunts, icons, and emotes. Whether that justifies the price is left as an exercise for the reader. And what's funny is they described it on the Hall of Legends page as, quote, some of our most generous bundles to date. Wow. And if you're only buying the event's 150 or 1950 RP battle pass, any remaining cosmetics bundles as the event clock ticks down make the 100 pass levels in the $500 bundle harder to ignore. So it's basically just like throw all the money at it. Throw all of the money at it if you want it. Jeez, man. Jeez. Okay. So they are right. I'm sure it's not targeting the average player that they're going to spend as much as their like PlayStation 5 on a single skin bundle for one game. I'm sure that is true. He explains, the vast majority of our players each year play League. They watch esports. They enjoy all the content, all the music, all the cinematics, and they do this at $0. So the vast majority of players spend $0 on a free play game. As a consequence of that, the majority of our revenue comes from a small single-digit percentage of players. The official term for that is whales. That's what they call that. Makes sense, right? What we really think about on the morality side, is that there are players who are willing to spend $200 a month on their hobbies. God knows how much I've spent on Warhammer figures, but it's really important that we capture that willingness and that ability to spend. He really said the quiet part out loud. So on the one hand, yes, there are some people that will spend a lot on their hobbies. I know a guy that got really into deep sea fishing. He was actually like one of my professors back in the day. And he was really into deep sea fishing when he lived in Florida. And I don't know if you've seen like what those deep sea fishing rods are like, but they are stupid expensive. I mean, these things, yeah, don't pay $100 for a deep sea fishing rod. Those are not what you want. The real ones that are like actually good are like thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah, these are all like training rods. These aren't even like the full deep dish. These are 200-pound electric combo ones. Yeah, I'm thinking like the real ones where you're going out fishing for tuna. Yeah, look at that crap. Jesus. So that's like, he got really into it. It's been thousands and thousands and thousands. I think the difference is you're like with the rods, you're getting a thing. And with this, you're getting a digital skin for a video game character. So there's a difference there, for one. Secondly, the gaming community that like Liu Liu is right. All of these free-to-play games are justified and are financially stable because of like a few thousand people who spend ridiculous amounts of money. Like, it's outrageous. I've mentioned this before, but like the TJ Gamebox thing, who he tracks Darkside Phil and his WWE Champions account. It's a mobile game that Phil is addicted to. Phil will just like casually in an afternoon when he has the day off, he'll just drop $1,700 on this mobile game. Like $1,700 on microtransactions for a bunch of like sweaty JPEGs of wrestlers and stuff. It boggles the mind. Like, who could possibly do that? Somebody that's like addicted to it, somebody that has more dollars than cents, truly, and is fine just throwing money away. But that is the case for a lot of these people. Like, a lot of them will spend that level of money. Yeah, this was for one event. Because what he does is TJ plays the game for free, sees where he lands after the event, and then he compares it to where Phil will end up, and then takes the number of points, and then can look at the microtransactions, how many coins and points and stuff you get for those, and see really simply how much money you would need to spend to get to that rank. And in this case, it was over $1,700 minimum. And he spent this in like a single evening. That's crazy. But that's how these companies stay afloat. That's how these games work. That's how free to play stuff works. They are not assuming you are going to get the majority of people to buy like a $1 skin, a $5 skin, a $10 skin. They might get you to buy like a battle pass, but even then they offer a free battle pass because most players are not spending any money. Like Leo said, the majority, or what he says, the vast majority of players each year play League. They watch the sports, esports, they play or enjoy all the content, all the music, all the cinematics, and they do this at $0. So the vast majority, according to him, of their players don't spend a single dollar. They're not popping in, buying a $30 skin once a year. They're not even doing that. They are not spending any money on the game that's just free to play. And I think that's what makes it all the more jarring when you see like a $500 super limited edition skin. Like, it's really jarring because for those people, they're not spending a single dollar. And so they're like, and you're going to charge that for one thing? I wasn't buying it before. But that's the thing. For the whales, this isn't that crazy of a concept. That's not that outrageous, which is heartbreaking that somebody could just casually drop that much money, but it's a thing. As for other comparisons, like he mentions, you know, other people will spend, or some people will pay $200 a month for their hobby. And it's true. Like, some people, if you're really into golf and you like going to the range and you go every weekend, you probably are spending more than $200 a month on your hobby. That's probably true. I just think that the gaming community is not conditioned for that type of thing. You know, there's some hobbies where it's just assumed this is an expensive hobby. You know, it just is. Warhammer, one of those things. Like he says, God knows how much I've spent on Warhammer figures. Yeah, Warhammer is a very expensive hobby. Lego can be a really expensive hobby. That freaking thing is stupid expensive. So is the Hogwarts castle and all that. Like, they're stupid expensive. But the gaming side of it is not typically seen as an expensive hobby, especially when you are talking about free-to-play games. Like, it's the lowest barrier to entry. So I think that's why this is particularly jarring. But it's the same reason why a lot of these companies, I think, will do very expensive microtransactions, $20, $30, $40 skins, or in the case of like Call of Duty, they had that one that was $80 for a gauntlet for the Godzilla event that they had. And for us on the outside that don't spend that much money, we're like, why on earth would you do that? Like, why would you do that? It just blows your mind, right? But they can take the hit of the negative PR and it doesn't matter because the whales will still be buying it. All these people that are spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on microtransactions for this stuff, they're still going to buy it. Because in some cases, it's a straight up addiction. Like, you guys remember that Monopoly Go video we watched breaking down how they capitalize on people's addictions to gambling through, like, you know, the card systems or the random pulls and stuff. Or in other cases, it's like a social status thing where they will release a skin like this and it's assumed that if you have that skin, like, okay, it's like showing up with a really fancy watch. It's like, okay, this guy's a player, this guy's a baller, got some money. It's like a social status thing. And I think that that's the main thing to take away from it, is that, yeah, it's not for everybody, but the people that it is for are going to buy it no matter what. They just probably won't tell you about it. They might be a little embarrassed by it, embarrassed that they're spending that much money on it, but they're still going to buy it. I'm addicted to buying portable monitors right now. Who isn't? Yeah, why is everyone always worried about resale? Not everything has to be buy and sell, dealing with margins. Well, so let's be honest, the Warhammer side of things, I know this because I have a pretty sizable Warhammer collection. It's in the display cases over there. If you've seen studio tours I've done before, you've seen it, like the glass cases and stuff. But I have a pretty sizable Warhammer collection. Warhammer, you can buy the models. Let's say you buy $100 model or $200 model. Let's say 200. And then you spend the time to build it and paint it. The usual rule of thumb is that you will get about 30% less, 30 to 50% less for a painted model than you will for just the box of the product. Like, people will convince themselves, well, really, I'm building my collection and it's really valuable. So if I ever needed to sell it, I could get money back for it. You're going to lose money on it. Like, yeah, you'll be able to probably sell it to somebody. But if you want to build like a full 2,000, 3,000 point army of, I don't know, orcs, and you spend like $2,500 doing that, and not to mention all the time and money and paints and stuff that you did to paint it and get it fully assembled, that $2,500 army that you spent, and then all the time and money in addition to that, you're probably only going to get like $1,500 for the whole army, maybe. So, like, you should get into Warhammer because you like Warhammer, not because you're convincing yourself that it's like an investment. Because I've heard people that are like addicted to these types of mobile games who will then talk about it and be like, yeah, well, one day I can always sell my account to somebody. Not only is that against like every terms of service for all of these games ever, like the account will just be banned and then all of it's just gone forever, because they don't want you doing that, since that destabilizes the market, because you could buy it in a different region for a currency that has a different inflation rate, blah, blah, blah. But also because then you're finding a way for somebody to get the cards or get the microtransactions or get the skins or whatever without having to pay the company themselves, and they don't want that, so they outlaw that. But typically when people spend a lot of money on stuff, you'll start to come up with justifications where, you know, they'll come up with a reason why they need to do it. I saw a TikTok of a kid who runs like a little tech YouTube channel. I say kid, but he's probably like 20, so not that much younger than me. But he went and he was paying like $98,000 cash for his like third Tesla. Now, granted, he runs a YouTube channel that just talks about Teslas, so for him, he can probably justify it. What I fear he's doing is that he's going to try to use that as a business write-off, which you cannot do. That's not how that works. Not only does it have to be 100% business use, but it also has to be like necessary and regular. Like, it has to be necessary for the business to operate. And how are you going to argue to the IRS that it was necessary you get a third $100,000 car? I don't think that's going to work. So when the IRS comes knocking, he's going to have a hard time explaining that. They're going to charge him all the back taxes and the fees on that $100,000. So he's going to get slapped like a $40,000, $50,000 bill and have a car that's now worth like $60,000, because that's how cars work. But in that case, like, you hear him justifying it every step of the way in that TikTok, because I think deep down he knows this is a bad financial decision to buy this $100,000 car when he's got $200,000 worth of cars on the driveway. And it's because he's like, well, you know, I can use it as a tax write-off. You can't. But I also, you know, I need to use it for content. You're not going to get $100,000 worth of content out of a single car. You're just not. I'm sorry. Yeah, who knew Tessie is short for Tesla and test federal law? Yeah, dude. There's a lot of YouTubers that I think saw a Grant Cardone video where he just says, write it off, and then they destroy their lives over it because they think you can just do that. Yes, I'm addicted to mobile games, but I write it off. Can't do that. Can't really do that. All this to say, if you are an adult who has a good amount of expendable income and you want to spend your money on skins and microtransactions in video games or mobile card games, whatever, if you want to do that, that is your right. Nobody's saying you shouldn't be allowed to do it. But people will tease you for spending your money in a hilariously stupid way. Maybe that's unfair. You could say, well, you aren't teasing the people that bought a sports boat. I mean, I would say, yes, I am, because buying like a speedboat is also a very bad use of money. But if you have more dollars and cents, it's your right. But it's also my right to tease you. You know, like you guys, if you want to poke fun at like the ridiculous number of like random collector's editions from video games that weren't even that good I have behind me, that's total fair game. Go for it. If you want to see all the candles I have stacked up on the bottom shelf, that's some good fodder. I'm teeing that one up for you. That's an easy one. Luke the candle guy. I love candles, dude. I stock up on them in the summer when the fall scents are cheap, get them on a discount, and then light them up all fall and winter long. It's great. It's great. You get them at like 30% of their original cost. That's the pro strat for candle lovers. Just telling you what right now. But the point is, if you are irresponsible with your money, that's your right, and I will defend it till the day you die, broke and alone. But I will also get the right, or I also get the right to make fun of you for hilarious decisions.